Hi, this is Gina with your Kingdom Sewing Minute Clinic. While we know that you're eager to learn as much as you can about how to operate your sewing machine, it's also important for you to learn how to keep it maintained in between your semi-annual visits to Kingdom Sewing for a full servicing. So I would like to show you how to do that. On most of your machines, all that you're going to be needing to do as far as cleaning is just to keep the area underneath the needle and the feed teeth cleaned out. On some machines you will be doing some oiling, but let's start here with this drop-in bobbin system. So I've pre-loosened my screws here, but you'll want to take your cover off, take your bobbin out, and on this particular machine we can pull away this portion of the plate, and that gives me access into where the bobbin case is. So we're going to take the bobbin case out, and you would want to get in here in this area and clean out any lint that you find. You can also clean around the outside here. You can use your lint brush that comes with your machine, or a Q-tip, or a piece of batting. If you're careful to blow out, you could use a canned air, but we really recommend that you use something other than canned air. You could use a little mini vacuum if you have that. So then you want to inspect around the edges of your bobbin case. Make sure that's all smooth. There's no nicks or burrs that could be causing you some thread breakage or shredding before you put that back in. I would recommend that you do that maybe once a month or every other month if you're sewing, 2 to 3 times a week. I'm sorry, 3 to 4 times a week. The more often you're going to need to get in there. And then a little less often you're going to want to get into here. So maybe every couple of months you'll take the plate off as well. And it's important to clean out in between your feed teeth here in these channels. This is an area that tends to be overlooked. And the problem with that is that if you have lint building up in between there, it can keep your feed dogs from coming up and moving the fabric the way that they need to. So you'll want to brush that out as well. So once you have that all cleaned, we'll put it back together and put your plate back in. Be sure you get that screwed down nice and tight. I recommend that you use a screwdriver to do that because you don't want your plate to be loose and wiggling around. You could end up hitting it with the needle and causing some damage. So important to get these screwed down. I also recommend anytime you're changing your needle or your foot that you use your screwdriver for that as well. Alright, so we're going to tighten that up. Then we want to put our bobbin case back in. And this bobbin case happens to have a little arrow here, and there's a little white dot here, and that arrow points to the dot when you put the bobbin case in. If you don't have those markings, you can look for this little teardrop shape right here on your bobbin case. This needs to butt up against the little spring that's down here in the machine. So the open area up here is where your needle's coming down, so that's going to slide under first. And then you just want to be sure that this is butting up against the spring here. Be sure it's flat and level in there. And then you can put this other portion of the plate back on. And we'll put your bobbin back in and the cover, and you'll be ready to go again for another month or so. There really is no oiling required for a drop-in bobbin. It's just a matter of keeping all the lint cleaned out. So let me show you on your front-loading bobbin system how that works. So we'll want to take our bobbin case out, and then we're going to want to disassemble this area here so that we can oil as well as clean. So we're going to open the latches here. We'll pull out the bracket, and then we're also going to remove the hook here. So you would want to clean any lint out of here. You can also, again, maybe not quite as often, take off the plate here as well, get in between those feed teeth, clean all of the lint out there. Now with this type of a system, because we have metal parts in here, you've got a metal hook and a metal bobbin case. The hook is sitting on top of this metal ledge here, and it rotates on there, so you need to have some lubrication there. So you'll want to oil here as well once you have the lint cleaned out. And it's just right along here. You can put just a drop of oil, or if you want to put it onto a piece of fabric and just rub that inside there, you could do that. That's a way to keep from getting too much oil. You need just the smallest amount, because any excess oil is going to be pulled up onto your thread and onto your fabric, and that is probably not something you want to have happen. So once we have this cleaned and oiled, we're going to put this hook back in here like that. So you should have a complete circle. When we put the bracket back on, you want to be sure that these little tabs are facing out. There's a little tab at the bottom as well. That's going to fit into this notch here. So we're just going to push that in. That should sit up against there. And then you're going to close your latches onto the little tabs on the sides. And that should be ready to go. And then we can put your bobbin case back in. You'll notice that this little arm fits up into this little indentation right here. If you get a good click, give your thread a tug, make sure it's not falling out, then it should be in correctly. And you can go ahead and continue on with your sewing. Now we do recommend that you have your machine serviced professionally every couple of years or so. But in the meantime, keep your machine cleaned and it'll keep you happy. This has been your Kingdom Sewing Minute Clinic.